what we decided to do is to have somebody that has never been afraid to talk about the truth, to expose abuses of government agencies. And she has paid, with her own existence, she has paid a high price of doing that. And I wholeheartedly agree with her. I support her, and she supports us in our efforts. So I consider her a friend, and she is coming back today to discuss the issue at hand. And for people that haven't heard the show, she was on our show several times after the raid, before and after the raid. And she is a former CIA operative and a former whistleblower. And this happened years ago, and she's still suffering the consequences of that choice in her life. And she's suffering the consequences of that every day of her life. And that should not be happening. For those who have been here on this show already and have heard it, you know they're talking about Barbara Hartwell. The people that don't, they hear it for the first time, and there we go. Here she is. Barbara? Hi. Barbara, did you mute your...
I took it off mute, Doctor. Good afternoon.
Hey, there you are.
Hi.
Is the sound okay here from this end?
Yeah.
Sound fine on this end.
All right.
Okay, so I introduced you in a vague, slight detail of your experience, and we want you to come in as an expert and discuss your experience and what you think about people playing sheep and not fighting back.
Okay. Well, first of all, Dr. Carpenter, I should mention that there are very few cases that I hear about of persecution. This is a neutralization campaign. They are persecuting you in order to completely not only shut down your business, which we talked about before it happened, but they want to shut your life down, your whole life. Yeah. And so
that's what they're doing.
Exactly. And that's what they've basically done to me in many ways. And, you know, I pick and choose very carefully who I am going to support because I only have so much time and energy. And, you know, as soon as I heard about the case of Dr. Carpenter, I was interested. And as soon as I started coming on the shows, I was outraged, absolutely outraged and horrified at what I saw was happening, and it has escalated and it has gotten much worse. So that's why I'm here. Because
you started getting attacked by the same people that were attacking us.
Of course. I mean, that we have like the little merry band of trolls and snitches and shills, and Michelle Wolvin is probably the leader of the pack, as far as I know, anyway. And I saw.
I'm Pinocchio.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about Bob.
Those are just trolls, but the government agencies another thing, okay? And
sure, but these trolls and snitches and shills and stooges, they are representatives of these people from the larger agencies.
They're paid by those people.
Dirty work. That's what they're dirty deeds done dirt cheap.
Yeah.
He picked the best theme song for himself.
Yeah. Oh, I've been saying that for years. I've posted reports about these stalkers and all these kind of people. And that's what it is.
First, you weren't a real person, and you were actually a family member or a friend. Then you were my wife, Wendy, disguising her voice. It's crazy.
Oh, that stuff has been going on for years too. I mean, in other words, people would write up, these shills would write up something. Well, I don't think Barbara Hartwell is a real person. Nobody's ever met her. Nobody's ever talked to her. Well, nobody that you know, moron. No. Okay?
Oh, she's invisible. She's an invisible alien.
she's a legend. She's a legend created by the CIA. I've heard that. I've heard everything.
She's invisible with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Right.
Well, you know, just like the Mexican Joaquin Murrieta, okay? It was not a real person. It was a idol of the rebels, but it was not a real person. It was not. But that's not the case.
That's not the case here. Believe me, I'm a real bleeding person.
Yeah, we know
And
that.
I'm bleeding from their attacks and have
I
been.
know. Same here. It's awful. It hurts like hell. And losing everything you well, not what you accomplish is not can be covered up, but cannot be deleted. But everything I collected, everything that I put together, it's all gone. It's all gone.
Thanks, FDA.
This happened. I don't know if your listeners know this, but this what you're talking about happened after the raid, when you were forced out of your home and lost many of your precious possessions.
The majority of it, very little that I could save it because I don't have room for it. I couldn't afford to move him.
Every dollar you had saved up, and your patient records, which they used to send out, letters.
Yeah. They expected to have this whole bunch of people saying bad things about. Do we have a break? Do I hear a break? Yeah. Okay. We'll be back after the break. I hope so. One of my patients said, well, just keep fighting because just because they won a battle doesn't mean they're going to win the war. That's what she said. So we just have to go on with that. But anyway, while we were talking before the break, then we found out that in our chat room, because Orion still does not have their chat room up, so people have to go to our medical conspiracy chat room. And there was somebody, I wonder if this is the usual headache person, but but somebody made an obnoxious comment, and you read it, so do you want to...
I don't know about obnoxious, but, just a suspicious comment. How can we believe a former CIA person?
That's obnoxious, okay? Because it's a former CIA person that didn't leave the CIA in good terms, okay? She fought back for what the CIA was doing. So that is just a saying. I cannot we believe somebody that was part of the defense industry.
By exposing COINTEL, she's been followed for years on the web, and people writing articles saying that she herself is COINTEL.
Okay, well, I have something to say about that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is. I'm going to read you just a short excerpt from one of my reports. And the title of the report is Once a CIA Agent, Always a CIA Agent. And here's a quote. This quote comes from the FBI chief and COINTELPRO kingpin, Ted L. Gunderson. He died last year, about a year ago.
Finally.
Anyway, he wrote this in an open letter to Barbara Hartwell. Okay? You admit, quote, you admit you were once in the CIA. There are no alumni in the CIA. Once a CIA agent, always a CIA agent. If you attempt to get out or expose them, you either go to jail or you die. Okay, that's Ted's quote. I'm going to put myself on mute for one moment.
Okay. So what does that mean, that you're putting yourself on mute?
Oh, okay. I just had to cough, that's all.
Oh.
Okay. So here's Ted Gunderson, and he spread this lie all over the internet that I'm a CIA agent still. Okay, now, here is a quote from my friend, another ex-FBI agent, Gerald Sosby. Excuse me. Okay. Repeating Ted Gunderson's comment, there are no alumni in the CIA. Once a CIA agent, always a CIA agent. If you attempt to get out or expose them, you either go to jail or you die. And Gerald's comment, again, here's an FBI agent that was forced out because he did the right thing. He defended the Constitution, and he's been harassed and persecuted ever since. Okay? So he says, that is the rule, meaning once a CIA agent, always a CIA agent. That is the rule. But you are proof that he is wrong. The same applies to me and the assassins of the FBI who are trying to kill me in the only cowardly manner they know. My question for Gunn, that's what we call them, the Gunn, Gunderson. My question for Gunn is why he does nothing to expose the crimes against humanity that are currently ongoing. And further, with his vast experience as an FBI chief, why he has not confessed to the world of his many crimes against the American people.
That's pretty obvious. Why not?
There's more, but I'm going to cut it off there.
Yeah.
But that gives you an idea. Okay, look, anybody that says that, first of all, the public has been deceived. You know, they read things, they read conspiracy theories on the internet, or they watch spy movies. Oh, once a CIA agent, always a CIA agent. It isn't true. It is true that I am the exception, but it certainly isn't a hard and fast rule. And so therefore, this is just another way for these government shills or stooges or just idiots, ignoramuses, to try to discredit me. And in this case, they want to discredit me because I'm supporting you. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they did kind of, right, they did kind of amplify it after you started coming on our show.
Oh, really? Is it fit to be heard?
No, I'm just saying, you know this as well, that the attacks on you kind of amplified when you started coming on our show because you started getting attacked from other directions.
Oh, of course. I have literally, I have lost count, but there's, over the years, I would say that the toll is thousands.
Even somebody that was a friend of yours got a message from this person. Get to anybody they can in your circle of trust.
We're talking about Michelle Wolven, right?
Of course.
Right. Well, before, when they were saying you didn't exist, then they call your friends trying to prove that you didn't exist.
You know what? That person is a former friend. Now, I'm not going to name her.
Yeah.
But that doesn't sit well with me, Dr. Carpenter. If I have a friend who's supposed to be in my confidence, you do not go out, I don't care how brief or what the comments are, you do not traffic with my enemies and discuss me. So, in other words, if Michelle Wolven called this person and left a message, that's what happened, called the person and left a message clearly stating that the message was in reference to Barbara Hartwell and Dr. Carpenter, clearly with malicious intent because she knew what was going on. This was not out of the blue that she didn't recognize the name. She knew who Michelle Wolven was. And yet, for her to call back, no, you don't do that. What you do is you inform me, this scumbag called, okay? Just so I know, so I'm left in the loop that I know that she made an approach. That's it. After that, you ignore that person. You don't, if you mention my name, okay? Do not mention my name ever to my enemies or you're out. Yesterday's trash. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Well, and then another aspect that has happened since last time we talked and you were our guest, but we discussed that on Nima's show, is that, of course, what the FDA investigating agent was doing is from the list of all the patient was calling them, okay?
Exactly.
But they all received a letter and most of them ignored it. Some patient answered with pretty obnoxious attitude because they were disgusted about what FDA did. Well, so those people were contacted, okay? I don't know all of them, what happened to all of them, but I know about this particular case that Jeremy Bain, the head investigator, called this patient after receiving a pretty upset letter. And he called her. She was not home at the time and left a message to call him back. And she called, she sent me an email and asked me, and I said, well, I don't see why you should answer him because you already said your piece by sending a letter. So he's a pretty fork-tongued snake, so the fact that he sounded nice on the phone means nothing. He does that's before he stabs you.
What they do, you see, this is the case with the government agents, like Jerry.
Here comes a break.
Okay.
Well, we need to talk about this. Yeah.
Okay.
Free speech guaranteed. You're listening to the Orion Talk Radio Network.
Yeah, we are back after another break, and what I have to say, my personal feeling about somebody, give me a doctor so I can hit him over the head with a rolling pin to affect his knuckle brain so he can get his opinion out of the box. Anyway.
Hey, you know what? And I did forget to do this at the front end in the first segment. Want to say hello to everybody listening on OrionTalkRadio.com and Micro 1650 in Tonawanda, New York. And anybody that might be listening on Shoutcast or Spreaker.com, because in that last segment, we kind of vacated the chat room.
Yeah. See.
Is there anybody out there?
Obviously not.
Is there anybody out there?
At least not in the chat room. Well, apparently, once we fought back the comment about the CIA agent, well, that caused everybody, the two cats that were there, caused them to leave. That means that they were not friends. So anyway, before we get back into the issue of fighting back the abuses of the government and the various government agency, which is a subject close to my heart because I've never been one person to accept abuses. I've always been a supporter of freedom, individual freedom, starting this when I was a kid back in Europe, but really a little kid. I've always fought that. So that's part of my way of life. But one of the things, before we get into that, I wanted to discuss the dishonesty of the government. Okay, so the agent called this particular patient that had written a very upset letter, okay? And in the letter, she said that he was a criminal, not I. So he tried to call her and left a message. So she called back at the number he had given her. And the message she got is that number had been disconnected.
Playing a game.
And so she thought, oh, gee, maybe I missed out. So she called the number again. And this time she got other number. I think she said 10 number redirecting the calls where what other numbers to call in place of this one that had been disconnected. And all those other numbers also did not have a response. They were not working numbers. So what kind of a game are we playing here? It's an intimidation game here. And it's disgusting. And a lot of people are really accepting that and just try to hide so maybe they'll be left alone. What you don't realize is they get away doing these things to me and others. They're gonna get away with doing it to everybody tomorrow. Today's to us, a few of us. Tomorrow will be to everybody. You cannot sit back. You have to stand up with us and fight back because it's not going to end here. It's going to go on and on and on till everybody is a victim of the system and we all going to be enslaved. You have to fight now when we still can. And I think that Barbara agrees with me.
Yes, I do, Dr. Carpenter. I can go back quite a few years. Okay, we're going back to maybe around 2001 or so, I guess, at this point. But I had the FBI out of Denver, Colorado. This was Division 5. Division 5, it's the Anti-Terrorist Task Force. What a joke. Okay, I had them I had them coming after me, and they were, of course, they're cowards. So what they did is they get their little lackeys and shills to come be an intermediary to me. And so one of their shills, said, "Oh, I have a message to deliver to you from so and so." Okay, what's the message? If you don't take that, Barbara Hartwell doesn't take that website down. And that in those days I had a real website, domain name, not this little blog site, but that we are going to bring the roof down on Barbara Hartwell. Now, this is after they had already been harassing me for years, doing breaking into hotel rooms, just unbelievable, cars full of teams, with their little radios and phones and
Yeah.
According to Bob, BH, the BH Percival name in the curriculum vitae is actually a code name that LaysMed uses to post under your name and manipulate the internet.
Let me enlighten Bob. Let me get back to my story.
That's Pinocchio.
Bob, Pinocchio. Well, the truth is that Percival is my family name. That is my family name. It is not a code name. It is my family name, going back many generations. So much for Bob and his, spy killer.
Praise Bob.
Bob is such a pathetic waste of humanity.
These people. So I told this person, who again quickly became a former friend. He was a former Army Ranger Special Forces kind of guy.
Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Okay. And anyway, and he had also been one of the top shooters, the assassins in Project Phoenix. And he was somebody that, it's a long story, but he was somebody that needed help. He needed my help to be debriefed because of what had happened to him and all that. But anyway, so he turned on me and becomes their little snitch. So I told him, go back to your friends there. Go back to your little friends. I'm not going to say on the air what I actually said. I'm not going to be using cursing language. But I said, basically, you can tell them to go F themselves. And if they were men, real men and not cowards, if they have something to say to me, they are perfectly capable of picking up the telephone and giving me a call, because they were already on my lines. They were already on every phone call I had with various, and they were repeat the conversations to the other people. They'd go back. They were sitting outside with a surveillance van, and they'd run back to the guy and say, "Oh, well, we heard Barbara say that you're never to do this something again, like that you're never to commit an act of violence again," which I did say, by the way. I was advising him not only of the law, but of moral absolutes. You don't solve a problem with violence. So anyway, they could have called. They had my phone number. They knew where I lived. Did they ever even make an approach to me personally? No. And why? Cowards. Yep. And guess what? If I had backed down and been intimidated, I told them my website will stay online. It is not. I will not be taking it down. Well, did they bring the roof down on me? No. Yeah, they caused a lot of trouble for me, but they didn't bring the roof down because I'm a law-abiding person. Yeah. I'm law-abiding, unlike them.
Right. If they could have held anything against you, they would have. Okay.
They didn't have anything.
Right. And the same in my case.
And the worst they can do, not the worst. The worst they can do is kill me. They've tried that too, but
by killing, they have to try to make it look like an accident, otherwise too many questions.
That's what they did, but that's exactly what they did do. And I have severe physical disabilities, which I've had for many years because of some of these so-called accidents that happened, and I survived. So, everything that's wrong with me, every disability, everything that has caused me blood, sweat, and tears in my entire life is because of these people. And you can't back down because they lose respect for you. This is the thing that people don't understand. You know what? They may hate me, but they damn well respect me because they know that they're not going to be able to get away with continuing this because I shout it from the rooftops. And as a result of this, a lot of the more extreme, overt types of harassment ceased. Because when they do things like send a military fighter jet over the rooftop level of a safe house where a person is staying, and the person, me, calls the FAA and makes a report, and all kinds of hell is stirred up, and they're exposed, they don't need that, okay? Because I'm not going to be silent.
Right.
You have to keep talking and expose them.
If you stay silent, then there is no end to what they can do to you because you're not going to say anything.
Exactly. And the other part, Dr. Carpenter, which we talked about too.
Oh, we got another.
Okay.
Don't forget.
I won't.
Okay, before the break, we were getting to a point where Barbara was going to say something really important connected with how, what happens if you don't fight back. And then the break interrupted the comment she had. So she's going to finish that up before we move on to other details of what's going on. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, the other part of it that I didn't get to was the intimidation. They attempt to intimidate the target first. Obviously, the main target. In this case, in my case, it was me, all right? And then they see how far they can get. Of course, they have psychological profiles that they draw up. So they're very foolish if they thought they were going to intimidate me. I have no idea how they even thought that would ever happen. But again, a lot of it, what they were doing to me was extreme showmanship type things. I mean, to have a military fighter jet buzz a house. They're trying to make a point, you know? They're trying to make a point, right. And they tried to use it, of course, to discredit me. But it didn't work. It didn't intimidate me and did not discredit me. So then they'll approach, just like these people, okay, like Michelle Wolven, the little minions that run around on the government's behalf. They'll run around trying to contact anybody. Well, that's a known associate of Barbara Hartwell, let's make a phone call, that kind of thing, right? And then they'll use different tactics. It'll be some tactics, like in Michelle Wolven's case, she approached Howard Nema too, and Howard gave her hell, okay?
Good old Howard.
Cut her off at the knees, okay? Which is one of the reasons I love Howard. Howard is not a coward. It's a rhyme, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Howard is a stand-up guy. And but that's what they try to do. So, of course, they make an approach and they try to, be smarmy. Oh, I think you're a real truth seeker, Howard. And maybe that you should hear the other side of the story, Howard. That kind of nonsense.
Being a journalist, and Howard say, I'm not a journalist, I'm a musician.
Yeah, right. So anyway, yeah, they'll approach anybody they can. And then the other part of it, the more sinister part of it is that they, either the agents themselves, and they use the same tactics, the good cop, bad cop type tactics.
Right.
So, we're really just trying to do the right thing. We're making an investigation of Dr. Carpenter, and we have to get all the facts, that kind of stuff, right? As if he's reasonable, right? All right.
Right.
So a guy like that is not going to be the one they send out to make threats. They're going to use somebody else for that purpose. And they may or may not be directly connected, if you understand my meaning, because they hire amateurs. They hire stooges is what they are to do the dirty work.
Well, I told you, I may have not. I don't know. I told you that, about the same time that Howard made his little video clip, an appeal for Barbara Hartwell, where he was asking for people to donate to your website. About that same time, he also made a segment on his show where he directly addressed Michelle Wolven. And,
oh, really? I didn't see.
Yeah, and we snipped it out of the video and kept it on our. We've got it as a video on our YouTube channel. Just says Howard Nema addresses COINTELPRO, I think is the title of it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, and he minces no words. And at the end, he says, so F you and get a life. Of course, he didn't say F you. He said the F word. And it was pretty strong language. And
I know.
What happened, though, was we got several comments on it, and every one of them says, "Oh, we can really believe somebody that uses foul language like that." You know, that's the only thing they could comment on was the fact that he used the F word.
Randy, as you well know, okay, I certainly have the capability to use that kind of language. I don't use it on the air just because it's not professional. I just don't do that. Okay, and it's fine. I mean, if somebody wants to do that, I'm all for it. But that's not going to discredit a person.
No, and this had become personal with Howard. You could tell he was mad, you know.
Of course it has, because you know what? Howard, aside from being, he's a no-nonsense guy, but Howard, thank God, also is a sensitive person. And it hurts him, just like it hurts me, when my friends are being denigrated and attacked. So he has every right to be angry, and he certainly has every right to use that kind of language. He's got his own program, not on a network of any kind, you know, like Orion or whatever. I know they have no sense.
Broadcast network.
Yes, but that's his. It's sort of like a two-man operation. It's Howard and Vinny, right?
And he's on right now, in fact. Yeah.
Yes, he is. But the point is that anybody that tries to intimidate you. I mean, I'll give you another example. There's this psycho stalker and Fed snitch named Timothy Patrick White. And
I thought you were going to mention my neighbors, but okay.
No, not yet. We should get there. But this Timothy Patrick White, he's been on my case since 2001. And he made a deal for a get-out-of-jail-free card. He's a career criminal, is what he is. And the Feds sent him, that made the deal, sent him after me. At the time, he was also living in Denver, where the Denver FBI was heavy on my case. I, by the way, was not living in Denver. Why that it was is another story, which I'm not going to go into now. But in any case, so they sent this guy on my trail, okay? He's a total amateur. He's not any kind of government agent. He's just a dirty worker for the Feds, okay? So he would threaten people and stalk people, especially women. He would stalk women, and it was unbelievable. They did nothing, okay? I've been exposing this guy. Anybody can go to my website, the Barbara Hartwell versus CIA, and see. I've got all kinds of reports on my site exposing this criminal psycho stalker. And it's amazing to me how many people are intimidated. And these people have contacted me, and they're crying on the phone. And I told them, stop it. Stop crying. He's not going to do anything. He's a coward himself. He's just a stalker. And make sure that you report everything he does to the police, whether they do anything or not. There's a record of it there then, okay? Right. And tell him to go to hell. Just tell him to go to hell, all right? This guy is notorious, and it's amazing that the Feds could be so stupid that they could keep this kind of a moron on the payroll these many years, and all it's ever done is given me an opportunity to expose not only him, but the people up the chain of command. And that's exactly what I've done, okay? And there's just no doubt. I have irrefutable evidence against these people, and they handed it to me on a silver platter.
Yeah, I know. It just unbelievable what's going on out there, and people need to be made aware of what is really going on. You cannot be in the dark of what's really happening, number one, and you cannot assume the position of, as long as I stay out of it, I'll be fine. No,
you won't be fine. That's the whole point, Dr. Carpenter. You won't be fine.
That's why we have people like Alex Jones and Mike Adams, you know, to keep us all informed of what's important, what the important stuff that's going on.
Of course. You know, it's in some ways, there's these people like this, these shills, are venting. They're a venting mechanism too, because people think, oh, Alex Jones is reporting the truth. Alex Jones is so courageous that he's doing all this, and he's now I don't have to do anything because Alex has done it for me. No,
Yeah.
no,
He's
No.
not. He's doing it for himself, whatever
of
is
course.
paying him.
Of course.
Yeah. Alex Jones.
to be a moral person and do the right thing.
Yes, but
And-
no. The other part of this that I just have to say something, and we talked about this before. It was during a private conversation. Nobody listening but you, me, and the NSA, but it was still semi-private. we were talking about. We were discussing how these people, they are criminals. They are destroyers. All of us here, every
Yes.
one of us on this radio program, and most of our friends and allies. We create things, okay? We can be artists or musicians or writers or somebody that comes up with an amazing device like what you did, Dr. Carpenter, and it's all for the purpose of healing people and out of love for humanity. And these people are destroyers, okay? Anybody that's creative and loving in their attitude has to be silenced and shut down. Because they're here to destroy.
The status quo.
Yeah, exactly. But in order to keep the status quo, they must destroy, and they must even create criminals. Quote, in a quote, by criminals, I mean they must make so many things illegal or try to do that they criminalize a person who's not doing anything wrongful. There were no crimes against a person committed, but they want to criminalize the activities
Right.
of people.
Right. Just like
support-
the landlord of your office space and that letter or email that she sent. It has come to our attention that illegal activities have been happening in your office space, and this is your 10-day notice. Get out.
5 days.
5.
They
Well,
give
there's
me
a
5
problem.
I think we're hitting the top of the hour.
Oh, okay.
Don't touch that mouse. The medical
yeah, we did.
conspiracy
Okay,
will return
we'll be back
in
for the
just a
second
moment.
hour. Okay, we are back for the second hour, and one of the things we were saying was connected to the fact that the government is trying to find any excuse to criminalize, any explanation to criminalize what you do, and one of them was the fact that I was telling the patient after they received our treatment not to go back to an oncologist because an oncologist would not understand or want to understand what we did, would intentionally or not still misunderstand the effects of the treatment and the post-treatment immune response and tell them that this is cancer and they need more cancer treatment, they need chemo, which is something that will kill them because they no longer have cancer now.
Not to mention that you're talking about the most powerful, the most financially powerful lobby in Washington, D.C., the pharma lobby. And you think they're going to allow you to stand in their way? I mean,
it's
they
not a
own
question-
our government.
I know, but they own the government, not the people. The government is elected by the people. The people can change at any time. If they would understand, if they did understand what is really going on, they put an end to all of this, even pharma. So, because the power is in the number, and that's why they're jumping on us. They're jumping on Barbara. They're jumping on you and threatening us. Oh, you have to shut up. The more you talk is a bigger brick on your wall. That's what they're saying, right?
A threat to
On the-
national security. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Well,
Okay, well, Dr. Carpenter, you see, these people, first of all, you have to categorize them. Some anonymous idiot in a chat room. Anonymous equals coward. You don't stand up and tell us your real name. Tell us who you are. Then we can entertain your comment, okay? But if we don't know who you are, you're just an idiot. You're a coward. Because
You're a troll.
A troll. Because nobody who's telling the truth needs to hide behind some kind of anonymous or screen name. They are complete zero credibility, these people.
Yeah, and they get turned around and say that whatever I say is held against me. It's a wall against me, isolating me from the rest of humanity, and is creating. No, that's why they hate this show. That's why they've been trying to close us down. Last year, the snake A barrister, that was his biggest attack. Your show. Why? You could stop it if you wanted to. Why are you keeping up this show? See?
Well,
because
sure, Mr. Carpenter. Of course, because look, I've had numerous people throughout the course of my life, okay? Even when I was still inside or when I was outside, and I've been out of there for 18 years, more than 18 years, okay? So people see what I do. They see, oh my God, you can't say that. Oh my God. And I said, well, yes, I can. Yes, I can say that.
What do you mean, oligarchy?
Yeah. And so sometimes that they were people that, often they're people they're worried about themselves. Okay, if they don't know me, it's amazing that knowing me, meaning knowing me for a number of years, but they still don't know me.
Yeah.
And so because they're so they're brainwashed and inculcated by, well, you can't fight City Hall. Oh, you can't go out and say these kind of things. Oh, yes, I can. And yes, I will. Because what I'm saying is the truth. So a lot of times they'll come after me. And I'm talking about, these are people that are my friends, okay? They'll say, oh, get that off your website. Oh, no, just stop what you're doing because it's only going to get worse. I said, yeah, so what? It's
gonna get worse for everybody if you don't talk about it.
Over me, and it's going to get worse? No, I'm not going to do it because these people need to be shut down. Forget Lay's Med Inc. shut down. They need to be shut down. They need to be put out of business. They are criminals. I don't care if they work for the government or if they're some kind of just little minion that's doing the dirty work, some lackey for the government. They need to be shut down because of their criminality.
They are hurting society. They are working against society,
and they don't to society. They're a public menace because anybody that's going to say, here's a person who has an alternative treatment that works. It's just so simple. It works. And for them to come after you, to shut you down, they are then responsible. In my opinion, they are responsible for the deaths of countless people who did not have that opportunity to come to you.
That's what one of my patients that wrote that letter said. She was really upset and said, as far as I'm concerned, you, Jeremy Bain, are responsible. The FDA is responsible for people that could not get there.
Of course. And die. Because, Dr. Carpenter, think of this. I mean, I'm sure you know about this, but think of all these drug tests that they've had, field testing or whatever they call it, drug testing. And a lot of the drug testing was done in like these third world countries. Do they ever report how many people die?
No.
And do they ever report how many people in this country who actually file complaints? Sometimes they settle out of court and with a hush money settlement, right?
Sometimes they don't do anything but put a warning label and keep making money on it.
Exactly. And people died because of their callous disregard for human life.
Yeah,
okay? That ever reported? No.
But that's what I said. You know, the FDA raid said they were basing and they were coming after me because of 3 complaints. Now, there are drugs that have killed hundreds of thousands of people over years, and FDA has done nothing. And then in the end, warning label.
Because you know what? Because according to these people, okay, who are the destroyers, as I've said, I call them the wreckers. Okay, these are destroyers and wreckers because human life is cheap. Human life is cheap. You go to some African country or some South American country and you get all these volunteers. Oh, yeah, I'd like to try that. I'd like to be a test subject. Maybe they need the money, okay? And how many people died? They're human beings. They had children, families. Does the magnitude of their genocide ever come to light? No.
No.
Well,
because especially in this country, we had this myth, of the quality of life.
It's another. The problem is a lot worse than you think. They do it in this country through oncologists Wait, they do it through oncologists that tell the patient there is this drug trial going on and you fit the pattern, you should be included. And they lie to them by saying the human trial, they call it clinical trial, that will help that particular person. It's a well-known fact that people in those circumstances are guinea pigs. It's not going to help them at all.
No, it's not.
Going to kill him. It's going to kill him. And the oncologist, the guilty one, is paid to send subject to them. So he's intentionally hurting a person's life. He's going to kill that person by sending them.
Because the human life is expendable to these people.
Even in this country, not just third world country.
Well, I know that. No, I'm well aware of that. But what I guess
in fact, go ahead.
They get away with it easier in a third world country.
Yeah, they do, but they do it in
years. Believe me, Dr. Carpenter, I have done a tremendous amount of research on this. Okay, on this subject, and I've seen some of the things that have come out in terms of the third world countries. I also know they do it here, but they pay hush money, and like you said, they put a warning. So what?
People are dying, but the worst part. Okay, do you know? If you have it here, the advertising of MD Anderson, which to me is one of the biggest criminal organization out there, because they're lying to people. They tell the patient, we have this personalized type of treatment. People do not, each individual gets a different treatment. Really, you know what the difference personal treatment means? Oh, we'll give you different drugs to one person or another. And in many cases, it's not. It's the same drugs to everybody. But they include them in clinical trials. We are sending you to guinea pigs. And we are doing it just for you, and that is going to save your life. It's not. It's destroying their lives. It's killing them. They're lying, intentionally lying to people, and nobody does anything to them at all. One of the things I was searching on the web, I was looking on the web yesterday.
We're hitting a break.
We got a break. I'll continue after. Okay, we are back from the break, and before the break, we were discussing how these drug companies do human trials, use human as guinea pigs to check their drugs, and let me tell you, they just fudge the big time. They totally lie about the results to support the effectiveness of something that is actually killing people. They do it not only in third world countries, but they do it in the U.S. too. And how do they get people to go to this dangerous trial? They use the oncologist to talk the patient into, the drug is going to be free, and you don't have to pay for it, and it's going to help you. You should go because your case fits perfectly. I mean, those are the first criminal. And yeah.
I'm sorry, just real quick. I wanted to say hi to Pam Suggs from UnitedTruthSeekers.com. She stopped by. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Glad to see you.
Okay, and keep those trolls under control, okay? If they show up on the chat room, you take care of them, okay? All right. One thing that I wanted to point out that confirmed exactly what I was saying, and it's disgusting what is going on. How can people be so blinded? There was advertised on the web after months of being calm, but I pointed out last Saturday that there weren't that much advertising about new drug trials and new places, new things coming up. What happens? There it is. Yesterday came up on the web this case by a new fundraising organization by an individual 3 times cancer survivor. 3 times cancer survivor. Now she had a 4th reoccurrence of the cancer, and she started a non-profit organization and organized a masquerade party raising funds for the cure of cancer. And the funds are going to for the benefit of MD Anderson Cancer Center, University of Texas, MD Anderson, okay?
Oh, they sure need lots of money.
The person that founded this organization is at the fourth, as I said, at the fourth reoccurrence of cancer. She's 30 years old, okay? Fourth reoccurrence, and she's only 30 years old. I don't believe she ever got rid of cancer. Oh, but she's a survivor. Yeah, she's a survivor of what? Not of cancer, of the treatment. It's amazing that she survived 3 treatments and she's at the 4th stage now. I mean, come on, get real. Okay, and the money is going to be used to, listen to this, that's what was written on the article, to accelerate the groundbreaking cancer research for targeted therapy at MD Anderson.
Accelerate cancer, basically.
Yeah, and this masquerade party is gonna have over 250 guests, black tie gala, and the non-profit group is called Jamie's Hope, and they are gonna have hors d'oeuvre, open buffet, and open bar. You know what open bar means? You go, pay as you go. Yeah, sure. Keep them drunk so they'll give you more money than they plan to. And all goes to MD Anderson. That surely need a lot of money. Yeah, MD Anderson gets in grant from the federal government $300 million a year. And what they are still doing, they are looking for better drugs. Better drugs. Targeted therapy means coordinates all stages of drug discovery and development, drugs that can do less damage. Oh, really, guy? Drugs? That is not the answer. And they're raising money for more and more drugs. And how stupid can people be? You tell me, Barbara.
Well, Dr. Carpenter, people unfortunately are stupid because they don't.
But more and more people are dying every day, so we've got to give our money to these people.
Yes.
They're our only hope.
But you have to, that's exactly it, though. You have to remember that people are so indoctrinated into this cancer research, hope for the future. Don't they ever stop to consider how many years has, to my knowledge, let me just say to my knowledge, and I am not particularly knowledgeable about something like scientific research, but to my memory, let me put it that way, to my memory, I've been hearing about cancer research probably for like 45 years, okay?
More likely 60.
Oh, yeah, I'm 61 years old, okay? I've been hearing, from my memory, okay? I've been hearing cancer research maybe since I was 15 years old or something like that, okay? And it never changes. It just morphs into something more bizarre. More and more people die. More and more money is sucked into the money pit. And it just goes on merrily along the way, rolling along. There's no, quote, cure from these people that's ever been found.
Nope.
And people are buying it and thinking stupidly, oh, I'm going to make a contribution for this cancer research. I'd like to wipe out cancer in my lifetime. I'd like to make a donation. It's unbelievable to me.
It's unbelievable. How blind can you be?
I've told Dr. C this. I don't know if I've ever told you, Barbara. A personal memory of mine, when my grandmother passed away in 1994, there was a wake, I guess you'd call it, at one of my aunt's houses. My grandmother had lots of great aunts. I had a lot of great aunts, and my grandmother had several sisters. And the youngest of her sisters, of course, everybody there was crying. You know, it was a sad time. But at one point, there were 2 or 3 of the sisters in one corner, and they were crying together with my youngest great aunt. And, of course, I just come up and give them a hug. Next thing I know, they're telling me that she had been diagnosed with cancer. And, you know, you could just see the despair on her face. But physically, she looked absolutely fine. You know, she looked great. She wasn't nearly as old as my grandmother. They were spread out. The children in that family, there were a lot of kids. But I tell you, within 2 months, and of course that was when the treatment began.
Exactly.
She didn't last a month. she was
Randy,
gone.
I can tell you that the same thing happened in my life to people that I loved, and they may have had other types of problems, but in both cases, as soon as the diagnosis was made, as soon as the death mongers, swooped in, they were gone within months. Short time.
I know. And see, that's why they are trying to do research and they are trying to do studies. Because if a patient died too soon, they are not going to make any money. It's not financially productive to them that they die too soon. They're not worried about the patient dying.
No, they don't.
They're not worried about the patient suffering. They just want to extend their suffering and their treatment so they can make more and more money. That's why they're saying more drugs, new drugs, less damaging, so they can last longer. Because
that's why I was so shocked, because my aunt looked so fantastic for her age and everything, and then just within a couple of months, boom, she's gone. She didn't last any time. I don't understand the mentality there. They killed her fast.
Yes, because
but the whole thing is that, as I said before, this is massive genocide. There's no other.
It is. Okay, we got another break coming up.
Real alternative radio. We are OrionTalkRadio.com.
Okay, we are back again. And of course, we were discussing all the absurdity of what is going on and the cancer that really nobody wants to find the cure, but they want to keep raising money, indicating that they want to find the cure. In reality, they want to find more drugs, get money with the excuse of looking for more drugs that can be less damaging and can make the patient last longer. Nobody ever is discussing cure.
And God help you if you go into one of these non-profit website chats.
Oh God!
And talk about something like like leash therapy. Oh my God, they come out of the wall.
Well, remember the guy that posted that blog about that he was alive and well, and that's obviously a fraud. It sounds like a fraud.
That's really what I was thinking about, that testicular cancer forum.
No, and I said that's obviously a fraud. That this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, right.
Livestrong.com or whatever that place was.
Yeah, because they push Armstrong. Anyway, there is something else also going on in a town, and I'm not sure whether it's in Mississippi or Missouri. But anyway, the town of Juniper and the inhabitant of Juniper, I apologize if I didn't get the state right. But there is this group called Blue Water Babes Fish for a Cure. It's a women fishing tournament, and they call themselves Blue Water Babes. And it's a fishing for a cure. They're raising, what a novel thing. They're raising money for the two particular charities. One is called Hearing the Ovarian Cancer Whisper. And why would they use something like that? Because ovarian cancer, it's really goes on for a long time without any real symptoms. So people might have ovarian cancer and not know it. That's why they call it Hearing the Ovarian Cancer Whisper. And then the other charity is the Cancer Alliance of, get this, Help and Hope. So they're counting on people hoping for a cure. Well, the cure already exists.
Obama has kind of turned the word hope into a 4-letter word, though, I think.
Well, I am not getting into politics because as far as I'm concerned, they're all guilty. It's not this person or that person. They're all equally guilty.
Puppet of the year, right?
What has happened in these years was not created by Obama, but then Obama...
You didn't build that, Obama.
No, but he didn't do anything about it because the country that Clinton found was in the same condition that the one that Obama found, okay? The two Bushes made a mess of this country, okay?
Have you seen that video that's been going around? You know, you remember the old song Super Freak, Rick James? And
yeah,
then Then MC Hammer took it and made "Can't Touch This," out of the samples of the rhythm section. Well, they've got a new one now called "You Didn't Build That." Dun, 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 dun. You didn't build that. Dun, 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 dun.
You know what? This is just an aside, but I have to tell you that Rick James, he has the voice of a beautiful operatic tenor. He could have been an opera singer.
Yeah, but he would not have made any money.
No.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
No, I mean, it's just I loved his voice. Because my parents were both professional musicians, and my father actually worked in the Metropolitan Opera Company for 25 years.
But he didn't make any money, did he?
Not much.
He snorted it up.
Hey, you don't get wealthy with that, so come on.
No, but I guess just the point I was saying is that I hear something like that, and I just think it's a terrible waste of a talent, to use it for that kind of music.
Okay, watch it, because I am a rock and roller. I do not care for classical music, okay? Had its place in classical music has its place in time, and that's it. It's an historical value, but music is for entertainment, for making you feel good, so it has to be current and not the music that is on right now, because it's so depressing. Of course, life these days is depressing, but if you also play depressing music, it's not going to help you. Okay.
That's why I wanted Mars, the Bringer of War, for your theme song.
Yeah.
It's classical, but it gives you that chill,
Yeah, it gives you, at least to me, it gives you the push to fight. And that's what we need. That's what I use Mars for. Okay, going back to the Blue Water Babes, okay? They're having this fishing contest to raise more money to get more awareness and hope to the public. Okay, is anybody even considering, is there a distant possibility that actually there is some truth in this leash therapy, that actually there is people are actually getting better, actually are doing fine and enjoying a good life? Why don't we investigate that? Why don't we raise funds to do the proper support to this and have the proper confirmation? Why don't we do that? Of course not. Because that's against what the system wants, okay? And all that these people are trying to do is make a living. They're not doing anything else. They're not contributing anything to society. They are concerned about their own interest. Same with Andy Anderson. And they couldn't care less about the public. The public is the one that has to become aware of what is really going on and search out there. And if you start searching, you read what the establishment offers, you realize, wait a minute, this is horrible. How can you tell me? Because the theory behind the chemo and radiation is we are killing everything in the hope that cancer dies first. That's all it's doing.
Yes, exactly.
In the hope that cancer dies first. The patient...
Carpenter, you know what? First of all, we talked about this earlier offline, but the people that are really behind this, we're talking about, the elite, the Illuminati. These people know better than that. They don't use they don't use radiation and chemo. They use frequency medicine, and they have it to the state of the art. They don't.
Unfortunately, though, even that doesn't really work. Okay, so they are not being damaged the way they're damaged with chemo and radiation, but even what they have doesn't work.
I guess what I'm trying to say, though, is that this is a scam being perpetrated on the public. Because I bet that a lot of the people, I bet anything that a lot of the people that are just coming down to the lower echelon, which might be the doctors and the people actually doing this is what they're trained to do. They're too stupid to look further. They believe, this is all we can do. This is the best we can do. But the people who are pulling the strings on top know that this is not true. I
know they know. But unfortunately, if they silence and shoot down something like we are doing, then it's hurting them also. They just do not realize. And you know why they don't realize it? Because they think, I'm immune to cancer. I'm too important. I'm too wealthy. I'm too up high to be affected by cancer. And then when somebody like Stephen Jobs dies, you think, wait a minute. But obviously they don't think about it enough. See?
Well, and then when that, oncologist at Arkansas Children's Hospital committed suicide.
Yeah, well, they silenced that one, and they said, no, it was not an oncologist. It was just a technician working there. And it wasn't cancer. He has something else. Yeah, right. That just over the years, the story changes. It's just like they're changing history over time. But what I am saying is if they were really on the level, if they were really honest, which they are not, and everything they do was done in the best interest of the public, then the least they could do is investigate this and do the proper testing, which they are not doing. Why not? I have tried for years to get them to do it. Why wouldn't they do it? Because they already know what the outcome is, and they don't want it. That's what it is. They do not want it because by creating something, by supporting something that eliminates the fear of cancer, cancer is nothing. It's really easy to handle if you handle it the right way. The reason why it's so scary is because it's not being handled the correct way. They initially did not know enough science to know what they were doing. Now they're just covering up because of their financial interest. But what I am saying is the public can read. For heaven's sake, read. Forget what they say. Forget what the press say. Forget what oncologists say. Read and make your own conclusion. We got a break coming up again. Okay, now we are back from, I guess, the last break.
Yep,
Wow. Time goes fast when you're having fun. But anyway, we did. One thing, though, it's been on my thought for a long time, and I really wanted to share with you on the radio to make you understand what is really involved here, okay? And if anybody has any doubt about where I stand and what it is that I am doing and why, this can explain it clearly, okay? I have spent the last 28 years of my life pushing this because I accidentally discovered against my interest because I had no interest in medicine. I discovered there could be a way to easily resolve the case of cancer. I spent 28 years and many times I've been attacked, accused, discouraged, insulted. And I said, okay, that's it. I've had it. I am stepping out. I'm getting away, going back to what I used to do and forget you. And then every single time something happened to remind me and made me see how horribly people were treated if they had the misfortune to have cancer. It was just something, you can really help and make a major difference and you can step away. It was a financial disaster for me. I don't have any retirement plan. I don't have anything. I didn't charge exorbitant amount of money like Brzezinski. I didn't charge anything beyond the fact of what I needed to survive and keep up operation, okay? And I had people that have seen a different view of life. They were desperate. They were depressed. They didn't see any hope. And then they went home to a normal life, like nothing ever happened. And that, to me, made a big difference in my life.
It opened my eyes, too, because I mean, there's no secret about this. I've been working with you for over 6 years, and I can't believe some of the things that I've seen.
But the
horrible things that they've done to these people, like the guy that had lost half of his face.
Yeah.
My God.
And that was human trial for the drug Tarceva. Mm-hmm. Yes. That now they're using it for lung cancer. So you don't see it, they're destroying the lungs. If pieces are falling off of your lungs, you don't know it because you don't see it. The face, you see it. The lungs, you don't. And then you die. Oops, they died of cancer. But one of the things that I resent the most of what they did with the raid, not only not being able to help patients anymore, but they have put fear in my life because one of the things I knew for certain was, and made me feel really good that if any member of my family came down with cancer, I could fix it. I could take care of them. I had no reason to worry because I had the answer on how to take care of them. You always want to take care of your family. One thing I could do, take care of them. By raiding and taking everything away from me, they have taken that ability away from me, and that certainty of being able to help my family, they took it away from me. They had no right to do that. Not only they had no right to stop me from helping others, they certainly did not have any right to do that to my life.
No,
and
they
my
don't,
family.
Dr. Carpenter. They don't. But that's the whole point, back to who they are, okay? These people are, again, destroyers. They're here to destroy things and wreck things, all for power and money and control, while innocent people suffer and die. And when there is a person who is a crusader, or somebody like you who comes forward with a viable solution for something, and any other person that's like you that comes forward to defend liberty and freedom and do the right thing, they will destroy you. That's what their mission is.
But see, the point is, that's why I'm doing this, and that's why I'm keeping up this radio show, is we should not let them. They think they can, they have the mean, and they are powerful. So what?
And when they raided you, they took promos for the Medical Conspiracy Radio Show. A big old stack of pamphlets and stickers.
Bumper stickers.
What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, they took those. The stack that I had of the Medical Conspiracy bumper stickers, and now I don't have any money. I cannot afford to order more.
Well, exactly, because anything that will disable you further, anything that will pinch off any avenue of anything that you can do, they will come and take it. But we do have to fight back. You can't just, and you are fighting back, Dr.
Yes, but I cannot do it alone. I need help. There has to be.
That's why I'm here. I'm just one person. But
MedicalConspiracy.com. Look on the right, petition link. Go to the petition, sign it. We need signatures. Sorry.
We need to people, and I know you're with us, and you have been for months, and I really feel that probably your situation has gotten worse because of it, because you have more enemies now. But the thing is that think about these people that are our enemies. One, Jeremy Bain. Yes, he's doing a job. He's doing what he was told to do. Yes, but that comes down to you and what you do and your conscience. Do you have any? Do you have any conscience?
Well, no, they don't, because they're, quote, just following orders.
And that's the most dangerous thing of all, is thousands of sheeple. I'm sorry, but that's the only word for it.
Well, they are. They are. They are.
Millions, not thousands, millions.
Yes, of course, of course. And those people are not only indoctrinated, but they're also easily intimidated because they are indoctrinated. So the thing is, you have to find a way to break through the indoctrination to offer some information. And that's what this radio show does. It offers information for anyone that has just the ability to even look. Anybody can look.
I know the information is out there, and it's really in terms that people can understand. If you read what we say about the treatment, common sense will tell you there is no way that this can do any damage. There is no way that this is not going to work. No, it doesn't matter what an oncologist is saying. They have their own interest in that. I mean, it is so obvious. That's why we give so much detail, so much explanation. Plus, there are all these people that are saying, oh, they're all lying. Yeah, right. Well, listen to them. They don't sound like people lying at all. And people are not listening. Why would anybody come and say, hey, I'm doing great here? Oh, they're lying? Well, you hear the ones that advertise for MD Anderson and all that, and you know that that's a stupid, pasted set of words. You can tell.
Mm-hmm. Actors.
Yeah, people told to say that. So I don't know.
That's what they are, shills. Just like Michelle Wolvin is a shill. She's nothing but a lackey. She's a bootlicking lackey that does the dirty work for these criminal government operatives. That's all she is.
Yeah, but after the raid, that's it. Their money line is over because they don't need her anymore.
You know, we've only got a couple of minutes left. But
okay.
I wanted to say first off that, you know, Barbara, we're so glad you came back. Everybody, I say everybody, but I mean the people that I know, you know, Howard, Pam, people have been trying to get your blog linked out there, Barbara Hartwell versus CIA.blogspot.com. But a lot of people have been concerned that you're all right about your welfare.
Thank you, Randy. I'll tell you, I've been having, over the past couple of months, I've been having just a horrible time because it's just a combination of circumstances. It's financial distress and the effects on my health and all that stuff. And it's just, so I had to step back for a while, which is why I haven't been on any shows or anything. But you know, I could never ever stop speaking out against these bastards, okay? Because as I say it again, they are destroyers, and I'm not going to let them destroy my life. Not while I have breath in my body, and my an even more important concern is that I have 3 grandchildren. I don't want their lives destroyed. I want them to grow up and to have liberty. Individual rights and liberty. And I want them to grow up, if they did come across a problem of something like cancer, they would be able to go to someone like Dr. Carpenter and get it taken care of, not being herded into the grinder where they're going to die.
Yeah. And that's the scary part about it. Anybody, especially now with all the pollution, with all the drugs that people are pumped with, it's very easy to develop, not to mention people that are convinced early detection is a good thing. So cancer is everywhere. It's on the rise because of it. If you find something that can wipe it out easily, then that's it. The fear is gone. Everything is gone. And then they don't have to blackmail you with these horrible expenses.
Yeah, it's
I think we're hitting
a terrible thing. Are we off the air? We're not quite off, are we?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were.
Okay.
Well, that's okay, but we can say that we are happy if people are. It's over. If people were listening. We're great to have Barbara with us again. We have missed her, and everybody that was listening, thank you, and I hope you'll.
The medical conspiracy.
You will ponder on what we have said. Have a good week.
Thanks, Barbara. We love you.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, yeah.